All right, good morning, everyone. I'm sure we can do better. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, excellent. I love the energy. I heard a few people, turn this off, there we go. I heard a few people singing along to Jamiroquai. I see there are many Jamiroquai fans here. Jamiroquai fans in the room? Oh, yes, thank you. There's only one Jamiroquai fan, no one else? In case we're building a Mojaloop favorites playlist. So if you've got a song, send it to me. We'll get it played during the break time for you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Mojaloop PI-18 community meeting. This is our first hybrid event after being holed up in our home offices, watching on Zoom. It was always a small joy to torture Miller, to wake up at 3 in the morning to join our sessions. I'm sure Miller is glad to be here in the same time zone. Very, very glad to have all of you here. We've got a really good mix of people here. For this convening, a total of, how many people? Wow. A total of 209 people registered for this event, which is a record, I believe. We have never had this interest in any one of convening, so this is our highest. Registration. We do have people in person. Check. We do have people in person, which is great. I'll ask the camera, for the sake of those on Zoom, to just pan around the room. So just give them a wave on everybody on Zoom, so that everyone on Zoom can see you all. Excellent, excellent. So the people on Zoom who can see you is Greg McCormick, Julia Kinuthia, Michael Wagoner, Miguel, Nicholas, and William. Thank you all guys for joining on Zoom. We can see your names up on the screen behind me. So in case you drop off a session, we'll be able to know. I'll ask Louis to hunt you down and find out where you are. And just for some logistics, I'm sure most of you by now have figured out where the bathrooms are. That's on that side. Those of you in Zoom, I'm sure you're very well familiar with where the bathroom is in your house or in your office. And so to start, this is really very exciting. This is my first in-person Mojaloop convening. You can see how tall I am. Those of you who have only seen my face on Zoom, this is how tall I am. I thought Miller was taller than me. I'm taller than him by just a hair, which is great, which is fantastic. And we do have a really good mix of people in the room. Yesterday, I was sitting with the TheaterWorks folks, and they asked me, so who exactly is in the room? So I'm going to play a little game, just so that we know who is in the room and which country is represented here. So just give me a second. All right. Okay. If you work for government, any government or government agency, please stand. Any government or government agency. Oh, excellent. A very warm welcome to all you people. Thank you so much for coming and being here. Awesome. If you work for a hub operator or a switch, please stand. Hey, look at that. Oh, that's fantastic. I was just guessing, I didn't think you were this many, but welcome. Excellent. If you work for a non-profit organization, please rise. Oh, excellent. Great. Who am I leaving out? For-profit corporations, I guess. If you're for a for-profit corporation, please stand. Excellent. Excellent. So as you can see, we've got a really good mix of people here. I will go through one more round, just so you can see who else is in the room. Who here is from Angola by show of hands? Angola? Not yet here. Australia. Hey. They probably took the longest flights here. Cameroon? Not yet here. Germany? Not yet. Ghana? Okay. India? Oh yeah, there are a couple of people. There we go. Awesome. Jordan? Hey! A very warm welcome to the Jordanian folks. Jordan is on my short list. I actually want to go and see the treasury. So I'd grab you at lunch so you can give me recommendations for my next vacation. Kenyans. I'm a Kenyan. Hey, there we go. I would argue Kenya is better than Tanzania. Myanmar. Hey, there we go. Excellent. Pakistan. Oh, there we go. Welcome. Welcome to the Pakistanis. Portugal. Hey, welcome. Thanks so much for joining. Rwanda. Welcome. Welcome very much. South Africa. Oh, excellent. Hey, there we go. Our host country, the Tanzanians. There we go, loud and proud. Thank you for hosting us. The Dutch, from Netherlands? Oh, there we go. Anyone from the United Arab Emirates? Dubai? Oh, there we go. Welcome. Great to have you. Uganda. The land of Matoke. Excellent. The United Kingdom, ably represented by Warren and Professor Michael Richards. And the United States of America. There we go. Excellent. Welcome. I did mention Australia, didn't I? Yeah. You'll go again. Excellent. So just some logistical items for those of you who are here. There are many more people who are joining us virtually. You can see them at any time on the screen behind us. So welcome to all you folks who are there. A couple of logistical items. One, I'm sure all of you have access to the agenda, to the sessions, which is great. We will be interacting virtually in a hybrid format. So please join our Slack channel. That is mojaloop.io/Slack. Most of you are on there. Channel, join that. So anyone with any questions or any conversations, or if you're looking for entertainment, I'm sure Lewis would be happy to post a snarky joke on there from time to time. That is a place where we'll be interacting, so please join that. Keep an eye on that. We also have on the screen in front of me a question from Michael Wagner saying, ha, 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 ha. That was, yes. All the questions virtually of those people who are joining on Zoom will be posted up on the screen. We'll be able to see it, and the speakers should be able to address them on the screen there for you. For those of you guys who are here, I know some of you are already thinking about your return back home. Eventually, when you need to, and if you do need a COVID test, we have arranged for somebody from the local hospital to come here every morning between 8:30 and 9 in the morning, so that you can get your COVID test taken. Now, you have to make the reservation online first, and you need to pay online. If you don't know how to do that, please talk to Desire at the back. Desire will be able to assist you with that. And then once you make your booking, it will cost you another 50,000 Tanzanian shillings to facilitate everything. So again, to repeat, if you do need a COVID test taken for your return, a PCR test, I should be specific. If you do need a PCR test taken for your return flight home, please let me know in advance. A representative from the hospital will be here to collect the sample between 8:30 in the morning and 9, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If you need any arrangement outside of that, just let me know. We can organize that. We will begin. I will welcome Paula Hunter, the Executive Director of the Mojaloop Foundation, to kick things off. Paula.
Thank you, Simeon, and thank you everyone for coming. We are so excited to be here live in Arusha. In some respects, it feels like deja vu because I'm seeing many of you that I've met over the last few sessions many years ago. First time I met Simeon, I hired him just on a whim. Never met him, didn't know how tall he was. He's taller than I expected. But it's also good to meet some of the new faces in the room here today. Thanks to everyone that has returned, and again to the new folks that have joined us. But also special thanks to the folks on Zoom. I know it's not ideal to be watching us from afar, but hopefully you gather enough information that is useful to you. We have a technical adjustment here. Good. It's paused. Sorry, folks. Hybrid adds new complexities to our execution here, but we're getting through it. At any rate, so I do welcome you, and again to those folks on Zoom, thanks for joining as well. As Simeon mentioned, all the slides will be on GitHub, so if you miss anything, you can look at them there. I think it's important for me to start with reminding folks, my clicker's not working. Sorry, I can't see me move it. Oh, there we go.
Just use this buttons.
Okay, another minor adjustment. Okay, I think it's really important to remind folks about why we're here. And Mojaloop Foundation mission is really to address financial inclusion, to reach those people that are unbanked and underserved. And the way we're doing that is through your contribution to the open source platform that's really designed to be inclusive and interoperable. And it's essential that we continue to advance on this mission and ensure that as we iterate on the development of the platform, that we keep this fundamental mission in mind. I know it's hard as we're sitting here on the ground talking about code and maintenance and testing. We get kind of caught up into the detailed tactics of the work, but we always need to remember why we're here, and that's really to reach the underserved. And the role of the Mojaloop Foundation, we launched 2 years ago, May, and we operate as a charitable organization. And so our responsibility is to maintain this open source software and cultivate this community that you're a member of to ensure that we deliver a public good to the marketplace. So the software will continue to be open and freely available, but also access to the community is free and open. Anyone can join the community, anyone can contribute, anyone can see what we're up to, what we're working on at any time. So maintaining this open structure is critically important. And while the project was originally initiated with Africa as a focal point, there are other markets around the world that we're looking at. We're seeing traction in Asia and elsewhere. And so while it's still critically important that we continue to focus on Africa, we don't do that at the exclusion of other markets. If there's a need and a synergy between ourselves and other developing countries around the world, we're happy to engage. And of course, it's not just about developers, although you guys are very important, but we need to engage with digital financial service providers, regulators, NGOs, all of those folks that can provide us input and clarity of our direction. Because as a foundation, the things that we're focused on are making sure we understand the requirements of the marketplace and how that influences our product decisions. Make sure that the community is well served and that you have the tools that you need to collaborate with one another at venues like that, like this, but also in between face-to-face meetings. We also do a lot of work on advocacy and speaking engagements, and we engage with a number of you on social media, public speaking, white papers, et cetera, critically important because, as you know, education and awareness of Mojaloop, open source, and our open source project still needs investment, and we'll continue to do that. We also made a sizable investment in training, and thanks to a number of members in the community, we've made great progress there. We have a number of new courses online. We'll hold regular webinars to introduce people to the training program. We have a lot of folks logging onto the platform. The stats look great, continued growth of people that are partaking of the courses, and we have 3 more courses in the queue right now. So that'll be continued reinvestment there. And of course, deployments. Deployments are critically important for all of us. So while the Mojaloop Foundation does not deliver services and we do not sell services or product, we're keenly interested in deployments, and anything we can do to help those of you that are involved in deployments, just give us a shout. We also want to make sure that those that are operating a Mojaloop environment have support as well. And so coming to these meetings, able to provide input on your experiences as you deploy and operate Mojaloop continues to be critically important. So a little bit more about the foundation, and then I'll move on. I'm delighted to have a lot of the staff here today. Again, some of which I've just met. In addition to myself, Kim Walters is here. Kim's been with us for a long time, overseeing DevOps, release management, and helping advance the work streams. We have Simeon, who you've met, our community manager, who joined us director of community, who joined us about 2 years ago. And he really oversees all of our engagement with the community with the help of Megan Cannon, who's in the back. Megan is in our US offices, and she helps keep the trains running on time and helps Simeon with his operational reports and such. We also have 2 new individuals just joined in the last few months. Steve Haley, who's our Director of Market Development and Partnerships. It's a mouthful, but welcome to Steve. Many of you already know Steve, and he's now a full-time employee of the Mojaloop Foundation, as is Desire Kajenji, Desire in the back. So happy to have you on board, Desire. You've made such an impact in a couple of months, and she's really been running a lot of background for us here on the ground in Tanzania, so greatly happy to have her here. We also have Paul Macon, who's not with us today. He works part-time now. He's taken over that role of the Product Council Oversight. Product Council is a really important group that is comprised of many of you in the community to provide input on our roadmap and our functional requirements. So all the boxes in green represent community groups. So we have a marketing steering group that's helping others our messaging, asking for providing insight on what tools and sales tools and demos and videos that we need to educate the marketplace. The Community Council works closely with Simeon in setting up the norms for the community and advising Simeon on the community management process. We also have a Product Council, as I mentioned, that Paul's overseeing, a design authority and a change control board. And that's really, this is where all the work happens, particularly in those green boxes. Of course, we have a technical governing board. Miller is the chair of our technical governing board. But what he's hoping is not to be too tops down in his approach. He wants to hear from you guys about what the technical governing board should be focused on. And then, of course, we have a board of directors and officers. So what are our priorities as an organization? So for this calendar year, we have 3 top priorities, and I'll just walk through them quickly. First, increase adoption of Mojaloop technology, our highest priority. It's a way for us to achieve our mission. How do we address the financially excluded by deploying Mojaloop into their markets? And it's the rationale for us to get continued investment in our work. So critically important. So what we need to do, how do we do this? We do it by bringing you folks together to help on deployments, find additional partners to support deployments, have a clear path for funding new deployments. In some markets, we find that while there's the strategic vision to employ a real-time payments infrastructure, there may not be the funding available. There are entities out there that have funds for infrastructure projects. So what we want to do is match make and help people find those funds. So it doesn't encumber a deployment. And of course, we want to engage strategic partners that can, again, help advance deployments. We also are focused on identifying grants and other funding opportunities for those deployment projects. As I mentioned, there's sometimes barriers to making those deployments happen. So we want to help in those relationships. And what it does is it signals to the marketplace that this is a vibrant, healthy ecosystem. I was in Singapore recently, and a systems integrator said, well, this is open source, it's free. How do I make any money? Well, we're not asking you to deploy highly skilled professionals for free. And the banks and the other folks that are deploying Mojaloop expect that there are costs associated with a deployment. Granted, we've eliminated the licensing costs for Mojaloop, but there's still other costs to deploy. So by eliminating the licensing costs, we've reduced the barrier of entry, but there is solid business opportunity for systems and solution providers to guide these banks through their deployment process. And then there's other special projects, which I'll talk about one here in a moment, that we constantly have new ideas coming our way. And if we can support it with the current staff, we do, but there are times we also have to look for additional grant funds. And so our team does that. And then finally, the third thing that we feel is critically important is we need to expand our membership and continue to increase community engagement. At the end of the day, we want to increase contributions to the project. And what we want to do is see a balance of contribution. We want to see technical companies, solution providers, other players in the marketplace that are benefiting from the Mojaloop platform, contributing back to the code base. It's the open source way. And if we all contribute back, it will enhance the product and enhance the image in the marketplace that there's a solid community supporting it. It also reduces our dependency on finding funded development, increases our credibility in the marketplace. And I'll be honest, the membership dues helps fund our operations. I'm not working for free, or we have plane tickets to get people here. Those are the types of costs that membership dues help to address. So critically important. So we're in the process of reprioritizing some of our targets. One of the things we find with large companies, I'll use Google as an example, who is a significant member and contributor to the foundation. What we need to do with Google is triangulate why they should join Mojaloop, why they should contribute to Mojaloop. And it wasn't one factor. There was basically three critical factors. One was there was a technology fit. Are they in a space that's compatible with the Mojaloop platform? And of course, payments, the easy answer there is yes. Second, market. Is there alignment with what we're doing with the market investments they're making? In particular, Google's focused on the next billion users. So there's synergy in what they want to do to reach those people. And then finally, the geographic match also aligns with their next billion user initiative. And then finally, mission alignment. Do they have an interest in financial inclusion? We talk to a technology company, they say, we don't care about financial inclusion. We have a mismatch. So we really want to make sure we find those players that are aligned with our mission, our strategy, our geographic focus, so that they can benefit as well in becoming an active member of Mojaloop. So those are the three priorities for us. And hopefully that ripples out into benefit to all of you. But it's also important to know what your long-term priorities are. Is it technology related? Is it building capacity within your own workforce? Is it business related? Is it project funding? I'd really like to know what some of your long-term concerns are. We're pretty tactically focused this week on the roadmap for the next 12 to 13 weeks. I want to know about the long term. So hopefully I'll be getting some of that input from all of you as we talk through the breaks and such this week. But in a moment, I'll tell you how you can provide that more formally to me. So I talked about other projects, funding new projects, and I'll talk for a moment about a new project that we are getting ready to launch on wholesale Cbdc. What we're planning on doing is launching a Cbdc Center of Excellence headquartered in Singapore as an open source project, which right now I'm in the process of getting ready to hire staff for that project. And once we have the staff in place and launched, we'll be launching a working group which anyone is open to participate with. And while this is the center of gravity for this team is going to be in Singapore, this is worldwide. The interest in Cbdc is cross-border, no pun intended. There's people there's projects going on. There's a lot of energy and enthusiasm about it. Our focus right now is wholesale. And what we'll be doing is building out this working group to discuss the challenges and how Mojaloop fits into a wholesale CBDC. So, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, these new projects require funding. So we'll be talking more publicly soon about the funding of this project. We're happy to report that we have secured sufficient funding to get it launched. And why CBDCs? Well, we think that there is some synergy between the issue of financial inclusion and central bank digital currency. And again, a lot of the central banks have been expressing interest in implementing it. It can be a universally accessible and widely used method of accelerating aid payments, for example, G2P payments. It also reduces dependencies on physical cash. Making the distribution of money more efficient. And I don't mean physical money. It's also more hygienic. And as we've all gotten used to traveling now in the COVID times, the less we have to deal with cash, the better. And it may be cheaper than other digital financial services. We'll see. I can't support this with hardcore data right now, but I'm hoping my team can. And the working group participants that are looking at this initiative and this mandate will be able to provide more compelling arguments to the governments. So in summary on this project, we're getting ready to identify pilot projects that focus on wholesale CBDC. We're going to start a series of financial inclusion workshops and hackathons. Again, all welcome around the globe. And we're going to collaborate on the development of a CBDC toolkit. So those are three major deliverables that we're starting to focus on. Once you see the press release, you'll see a call to action. If you want to join the working group, we'd encourage any and all of you to do so. One last thing before I wrap, I wanted to remind people that we have a business directory, and it really makes it easier for people to find one another, companies that are skilled in providing training, system services, operational services. And we really encourage you to take a look at that directory. And if you fit in any of the categories that are listed here, by all means, please do enter a submission. Once you enter the submission, our team in the home office will review it. If they have any questions, they'll get back to you and then post your entry into our directory. We currently have 8 companies in the directory. We'd like to double that this year. As you see the top line, those are our member companies, Coil, Motusbox, and Cybrid. So we want to acknowledge and thank those companies that have contributed. But as you see, there are several other companies on the list, including folks that are here today. So thank you for making that entry. And we hope that that creates more awareness of what you're doing in this sector and brings opportunity for you. So it takes a village, and I'm so happy to be amongst you all here today. This photo is from Joburg, January of 2020. Hard to believe. We'll take a picture again this week, probably on Wednesday, but it's so important to have the diversity of companies here, the diversity of countries represented, and that just makes everything that we do more holistic and representative for the greatest number of people. In fact, even for January, which was a total Zoom meeting, we had 194 registrants, 50 countries, and 6 continents. So I applaud all of you that have sat through 8 Zoom meetings in the last 2 years. I know it was excruciating for some, Miller in particular, but we were really impressed with folks' willingness to get up at crazy times and spend 4 or 5 hours on a continuous Zoom. So hopefully this is a little more dynamic and you get a little bit more out of it and enjoy our time here in Arusha. As I mentioned, I'd really like to understand your long-term priorities. I'll circulate this link and QR code, but I'd just like quick response from any and all of you on what are your burning issues? And again, not the day-to-day tactics, but the long-term. And what we'll do is that by the end of the week, we'll collate this and provide some input to the room and to the Zoom participants on what we're hearing about the longer-term priorities. Because as executive director, course, I've got to be planning for 2023, 2024, 25. And so that's what's keeping me up at night. My board of directors are meeting with me in June for the first time, face-to-face. And what we really want to do is plan out a solid trajectory for us well into the future. So your input would be greatly appreciated, either via this survey, which is, you can enter anonymously. You don't have to give me all your details, or send it to me via email. Most of you know me, or just here as we're in the room. By all means, just give me a shout here while you're on the ground in Arusha. So with that, again, I thank you for coming. Thank you to the Zoom folks for sitting in, and I'll turn it back to Simeon.